Welcome to Speak English Avenue. Today, I share my story. I was afraid to speak. Every word felt like a wall. People laughed at my mistakes. I felt small and broken, but I kept going forward. I refused to give up. Do you know that feeling? That fear deep inside you? My tongue could not move. My mind was always confused. I practiced alone every night. No teacher, no class, nothing. I listened, I copied, I tried. Slowly, something started changing. One word became one sentence. One sentence became one conversation. Can you imagine that moment, finally being truly understood? My heart was full then. Tears fell down my face. English was not my language, but I made it mine. Every struggle taught me something. Every mistake made me stronger. Have you ever felt lost? Lost in your own voice? I was that lost person, standing alone in the dark. But light always finds you if you keep moving forward. My journey is still continuing. My story is not finished. Fear was living inside me. It controlled my every move. Every morning I woke up afraid to open my mouth. I wanted to speak English, but fear always stopped me. My heart would beat fast. My hands would start shaking. I looked at other people speaking. They looked so free, so confident, but I felt like nothing, like a prisoner inside myself. Fear is a heavy thing. It sits on your chest. It tells you to stay silent. It tells you you are weak. I believed those lies too long. Too long I stayed quiet. In school, I knew answers, but fear kept me silent. The teacher would ask a question. My mouth would never open. I knew the right words, but fear locked them away. Have you ever felt that? Knowing but never speaking out? That silence was my prison. Fear had built every wall. I would practice in my room, but outside, I became nothing. The words would disappear completely, like smoke in open air. People around me spoke so easily. I wondered what was wrong. Was I not smart enough? Was my voice not worthy? Fear makes you ask questions, painful and damaging wrong questions. It makes you doubt yourself deeply. Every single day you shrink. I started avoiding English conversations. I would walk the other way. If someone spoke English to me, I would pretend not hearing. That was my daily reality, hiding behind my own fear. But fear grows when you hide. It becomes bigger every day. I did not know that then. I was just surviving. Every classroom felt like a stage, and I was not ready. My accent felt like a mistake. My grammar felt always wrong. I thought people were always judging every single word I spoke. That thought was destroying me slowly, silently breaking me from inside. Fear does not need a reason. It just needs your silence. And I was giving it everything. All my silence, all my doubt. I remember one specific afternoon clearly. Someone asked me one simple question, just one simple English question only, and I completely fell apart inside. My face turned red immediately. My voice disappeared completely then. I could not form one sentence, not even one simple word. I walked away feeling so ashamed. That shame stayed with me long. That day, I realized something important. Fear was now fully controlling me. It had taken my voice away, the voice I was born with. Fear does not fight you loudly. It whispers until you believe it. It whispers you are not enough. It whispers stay silent, stay safe. And slowly you start agreeing. You start becoming your own enemy. Every mistake felt like a failure, like the world was watching me. I made so many errors daily, more than I could even count. My grammar was always completely wrong. My pronunciation made people look away. But something strange started happening slowly. Each mistake was teaching me something. I did not see it then, but struggle was, shaping me quietly. When you fall, you learn balance. When you fail, you learn strength. I mispronounced words so many times. People corrected me without any kindness. That correction used to hurt deeply. It used to burn inside me, but I started listening more carefully. I started paying closer attention now. Every correction became a small lesson. Every embarrassment became hidden education. Have you ever been corrected harshly? In front of everyone around you? That pain is very real. It cuts deeper than any knife. But pain can become your teacher if you let it speak. I let my pain teach me. I stopped running from my mistakes. I started writing my errors down, every single one in a notebook. That notebook became my best teacher, better than any classroom ever was. I would read my mistakes aloud, then correct them one by one. Slowly, the same mistakes stopped repeating. New ones came, but fewer now. Struggle was doing its quiet work, building something strong inside my bones. I remember making one big mistake during a very important conversation once. I used completely the wrong tense. The other person looked so confused. I wanted to disappear that moment. The embarrassment was almost unbearable then. But I went home that night, and I studied that exact tense. For 3 hours, I practiced alone, until it felt natural in my mouth. That one embarrassing, painful moment taught me more than 10 easy lessons could. Struggle forces you to go deeper. Comfort only keeps you on surface. I was learning this truth slowly, through every painful, difficult, hard moment. My vocabulary was very limited then. I could not express my thoughts. I would start one sentence confidently, then lose my words completely midway. That feeling is so frustrating deeply, like your mind betrays you suddenly, but I kept starting sentences again, even when I lost them always. Each attempt was building something invisible, something I could not yet see. Strength does not come from ease. It grows from resistance and pressure. Like a muscle needs weight to grow, my English needed struggle to develop. I was in the gym daily, but my gym had no weights. My weights were my daily mistakes. My reps were my repeated attempts. Every wrong word I ever spoke was a rep that built me. Every confused look I ever received was a weight that shaped me. I stopped being ashamed of struggling. I started wearing it like armor, because struggle was not my weakness. Struggle was quietly becoming my power. The harder the day felt then, the stronger I became the next. I was not failing at English. I was being built by it. No one was waiting for me. No teacher, no guide, no class. I was completely alone in this. Just me and my own will. There was no one to push, no one to check on me. No schedule, no homework, no deadline. Nothing forcing me to keep going. And that is the hardest thing. When no one is watching you, when no one will notice if you stop or you keep going, most people stop in that silence. Most people choose the easier path. But something inside me refused stopping. Something deep would not let go. I did not have money then. For expensive courses or private tutors, I had only my own time and my burning desire to improve. So I made my own schedule. Every single night, without any fail. After everyone in my house slept, I would sit alone and practice. The whole world was quiet then, but my mind was fully alive. I would play English audio slowly and repeat every single word carefully. Sometimes the same sentence 50 times, until it felt right in mouth. That was my classroom every night. A small room and one phone. No whiteboard, no fancy learning app. Just pure, focused, burning dedication only. Self-discipline is a quiet thing. Nobody claps for it at night. Nobody sees you sitting, alone practicing. Nobody knows the hours you give, but you know, and that matters. That inner knowing keeps you going. Have you ever worked in silence? With zero audience and zero applause? That is where real growth lives. In the unseen and unclapped moments, I created my own little system, a system built from pure necessity. Monday, I would focus on listening. Tuesday, I would focus on speaking. Wednesday, I wrote simple, short sentences. Thursday, I read anything I found. Friday, I reviewed all my errors. Weekend, I practiced without any plan. That routine became my daily religion. I never missed it without reason. Discipline is not about being perfect. It is about showing up always, even when you are very tired, even when progress feels completely invisible. I showed up on tired nights. I showed up on hopeless nights. There were nights I felt nothing, no improvement, no progress, no hope. But I opened my notebook anyway. I pressed play on audio anyway. Because discipline does not need feelings. It only needs your daily decision. I decided every single night again to choose practice over comfortable rest. That decision compounded over many months, quietly building something I could not see. Self-discipline taught me one truth. Nobody is coming to save you. You are your own best teacher. You are your own daily coach. The person who will push you lives inside you, not outside you. I stopped waiting for right conditions. I stopped waiting for perfect timing. There is never a perfect moment. There is only the present moment, and in every present moment available. I chose to do the work. My phone became my English university. My bedroom became my practice stage. I rehearsed conversations I might have. Before I ever had them outside, I practiced introducing myself every night until it came out naturally smooth. I practiced asking simple daily questions until they felt part of me. Self-discipline was slowly changing everything, from the inside out, completely, silently. I did not start with sentences. I started with one single word. Just one word every single day. That was my only small goal. It felt too small at first, almost embarrassingly tiny and insignificant then. But that one word was everything. It was the beginning of everything. I would learn one new word, then use it that same day. I would find a way always to fit that word somewhere naturally. At first, it felt very forced, very unnatural and very uncomfortable always. But I kept doing it anyway, because small is still moving forward. Then something quietly started to shift. One word became two words naturally. Two words became one short phrase. That phrase became one full sentence. Have you ever watched a seed slowly pushing through the hard ground? That is exactly what was happening. Inside my English learning every day, growth is invisible before it shows. It works in silence and darkness. I could not see it happening, but it was happening every moment. My first full sentence felt magical, like a miracle inside my mouth. I said it and understood myself. That feeling was completely indescribable then. It was not a perfect sentence, but it was mine, fully mine. I remember that sentence even now. It was simple, but it mattered, because it proved something very important, that I could do this thing. One sentence gave me one belief, and that belief gave me courage. Courage gave me another full sentence, and that sentence gave me more. This is how progress really works, not in giant leaps, but steps. Each small step creates the next. Each word unlocks the next word. I started understanding more English audio, where before I heard only noise. Suddenly, patterns started becoming very clear. Words I knew started connecting together. My brain was building invisible bridges. Between the warp, DS I was learning. And one day, without any warning, a full thought came out naturally. No planning, no translating, no forcing. It just came out by itself. That was the moment I knew. Something fundamental had deeply changed inside. I was no longer just memorizing. I was actually starting to think. Thinking in English is very different. It means English lives inside you. It means you no longer translate. You feel the language from inside. That shift did not happen overnight. It was built word by word, Sentence by sentence, day by day, layer upon invisible layer upon layer. Progress is not always loud and visible. Sometimes it whispers before it speaks. I was hearing those quiet whispers, getting louder slowly every passing week. My conversations started lasting much longer, where before they ended in seconds. I could hold a thought now. I could finish what I started. That feeling of completion was powerful, like finally closing an open wound. People started responding to me differently. They started listening more carefully now. Not because my English was perfect, but because my confidence was growing. Confidence grows when progress becomes visible. Even the smallest visible progress counts. I started taking more speaking risks, trying words I never tried before. Sometimes they came out completely wrong, but sometimes they came out right, and those right moments kept accumulating, building a new story inside me. A story where I was capable. A story where I was enough. One word had started all this. One tiny word on one night. My journey never had a finish. Every ending was just a beginning. I kept reaching small goals daily, but bigger goals always appeared ahead. That used to frustrate me before. Why is there always more ahead? But I started understanding something slowly. A journey without end means growth. If you stop, then you shrink. If you keep going, you expand. English is not a destination point. It is a lifelong daily practice. Even native speakers are still learning, still discovering new words every day. So why would I ever stop? Why would anyone ever stop growing? I passed levels I once feared, levels that once seemed completely impossible. But passing one level only revealed how much more was still waiting. And that used to feel heavy, like the mountain never gets smaller. But one day, I changed perspective. I stopped looking at the top. I started looking at how far I had already climbed from below. That shift changed absolutely everything inside, from frustration into deep, quiet gratitude. Have you ever looked back and realized how far you have come? That backward glance is very powerful. It reminds you of your strength. I looked back at that person, afraid to speak one single word, and I could not recognize him. He felt like a different life. Because he was a different life, growth makes you someone completely new. I was not the same person. Who once hid from English conversations, I was becoming someone I respected, someone I was proud to be. But the journey kept moving forward. It never stopped and waited for me. New challenges kept arriving without warning. Formal English, academic English, professional English. Each new context brought new fear. Each new level brought new walls. But now I knew one truth. Walls are just the next lesson. I had learned to love walls, because walls mean I am growing. If there are no more walls, then I have stopped moving forward. So I welcomed every new challenge, like an old, familiar, necessary friend. My listening was still not perfect. Fast native speakers still confused me. Idioms and slang still surprised me. Cultural references still went over me. There was so much still remaining, an ocean of language still waiting. But I was no longer afraid of how much was still left. Bacau. See, I had already proven something. I could learn what I needed. The process had become my companion. The journey had become my home. I no longer needed a destination. I only needed to keep walking. Every day brought one new thing, one new word, one new sound, one new way to express myself, one new connection between two thoughts. And each new thing reminded me that this journey is never finished. That is not a sad truth. That is the most beautiful truth, because it means you always have a reason to keep showing up, a reason to press play again, a reason to try one more time. Even when you feel completely tired, the journey continuing is the gift, not the destination, never the destination. I was still that same person who started with one single word. But I was also someone more, someone built by every continuing step, and the steps were still coming, each one asking me to follow.